Okay, so what we're working with today is volume of pyramids. And remember, a pyramid is where you have one base and all the sides come up to the point. So the volume of a pyramid is 1/3 the area of the base times height. If you notice, area of base times height is the formula for a prism. And so think a pyramid goes up to a point, and it's, oh, what's supposed to say pyramid? And so it's 1/3 of it. Let's change that to pyramid. Yours probably says pyramid, so we should be okay. All right, so area of the base is, let's see, the base is still this bottom here. So you would do the same process where you find the area of that. Now the height, though, there's the height that's important. The height goes from the top at the vertex down to the base, and it's perpendicular. That right there is the height of the pyramid. Now, there's another height of the pyramid, and it's called the slant height. And the slant height is what it sounds like. It's the height as the slant goes down on the side. So I'm going to draw this one in blue. So it goes down the side of the pyramid, and it's perpendicular also. That's the slant height. So the regular height goes through the center of it usually, and the slant height is slanted at a side. Okay, you may have to use slant height a little bit, but I just want you to be familiar with it so you know the difference between that and the height. Okay, so we're going to find the volume. So remember, volume is 1/3 base times height. I would still like you to understand what the base is, so I'm going to highlight that. And I'm still going to draw my picture of my base. All right, we did that earlier. And my base is a 6x6, and so that area is 6 times 6, which is 36. So now it's 1/3 times 36 times my height, which goes down through the center, which is 8. And so now I'm going to multiply 36 times 8 divided by 3, and that's 96. So the volume of the pyramid in number 1 is 96 inches cubed. Okay. All right, number 2 is a pentagonal pyramid, because the base is a pentagon right here. Okay, ooh, that's a pretty good coloring job. Okay, so volume equals the area of base times height. Pentagons are usually pretty hard to find the area, but look, it's so nice. This is a nice problem. Oops, I forgot the 1/3. That problem tells you that it's 27. So I don't have to do any math. I just need to plug in 27. And now this height, it's not drawn in the center, but it's on the outside. But if you notice, it's still perpendicular. So that's 5. And so 27 times 5 divided by 3 is 45. So that pentagonal pyramid has a volume of 45 centimeters cubed. Okay. All right, so now we get down to word problems where we're trying to find missing things. So I'm going to write my formula. 1/3 base times angle, area of the base times the height. The pyramid's a square base. Okay. And so here's my square base. The volume's 128. 1/3 stays there. And the height is 6. So I don't know what the area of the B is, but I do know that if this side's x, this side's x, because it said it was a squared. And so the area is x squared times the height of 6. And so now I kind of do my math here, and I can combine the 1/3 with 6, and 1/3 times 6 is 2. So I get 128 equals 2x squared. Divide by 2, and I get 64 equals x squared. And to get rid of a square, you're going to take the square root. So x is 8. So the side measure of that square is 8. All right, number 4. Start off by writing our formula again. So this is a rectangle. So I'm going to draw a rectangle over here so I can see what I'm doing. It says the length of the rectangular base is 3. And the width is 1.5. This time I want my height. Well, I can find the area of that by doing 3 times 1.5, which is 4.5. So volume is 6. 1/3 my area, which is 4.5 times x, because I don't know how tall this thing is. And so 4.5 divided by 3 is 1.5. And so 6 is equal to 1.5 times x. I divide by 1.5 on both sides, and I get 4. So the height is 4 feet, because everything else is in feet. Okay, number 5, we're going back to volume. And remember, volume with similar figures is side cubed over side cubed. So I'm looking for the volume of this one. So since I'm looking for the volume of B, I'm going to put the small on top. Small over big. So my small number I don't have it, so it's going to be volume over my volume of my big, which is 125. Now I go back to small, and the only number I have is my height, so it's 10, but remember we're talking about volume, so I cube it. So 10 cubed over 15 cubed. And so I do 10 cubed over 15 cubed. Let's see. Oh, crud. And so that is 0.2962 dot 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 dot. So if I just multiply by 125, I get 37.03. So the volume of this one is 37.04 inches cubed. And let me see if I did this correct. I said my volume over my volume, and then I said side over side, and 10 cubed divided by 15 cubed gave me this decimal. Yep. And then you multiplied, so that's it. Looks like a funny number, but that's what it is. Okay, so now this is called a composite picture. I have two things. I have my pyramid down here. I'm going to call this shape 1, or my prism down here, shape 1, and my pyramid up here too. So I have a prism, which is base times height. And so my base is a 4 by 4. So it's going to be 4 times 4. And my height is right here, which is 5. So 4 times 4 times 5 gives me a volume of 80. And so that's the bottom shape. My shape number 2 is a pyramid. And if my base is 4 by 4 there, this up here is also the same base because they're parallel. And so this is 1/3 base times height. So I know that my base on my prism was 4 times 4. And my base on my pyramid is going to be the same thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and substitute in the 16. But this time my height is here. This is how tall the pyramid is. My pyramid is 6 tall. And so 16 times 6 divided by 3 gives me 32. Now, what happened with these two is I put them together. So when you add them together, you're going to add. So I put them together, and so I get 112 inches cubed. Separate it out and say what you're looking for. It makes the problem easier. And then go back to the process that we've done for these problems, and you'll be able to do composite figures.